We are going live, guys. We're going live tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a couple of things tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about my favorite Sunday topic, which is 7 Secrets to Daily Happiness. So, we're going to be talking about that tonight. And we're going to be talking about it to people who are trying to find their happiness. When we're said and done with the course, we're talking about seven secrets to daily happiness, and I'm giving you guys some of my tips. What I am going to talk to you guys about is some of my books that I've come out with. Right, this is my murder mystery novel, Confessional Killer, and this is also my next follow up to that, Echoes in the Confessional. So those two are out. I just finished and came out November 1st with my third one, The Reluctant Witness. So you can buy that now. It's going to be in print. A couple of years back, I came out with this one, Top 25 Mistakes en Route to the Good Life. That's me actually on the cover. Yeah, that is me. And what that book talked about mostly was my mistakes, man. Mistakes that I made throughout my life, things that I've done that I regret, and just different ways that I feel like I could have done it better. And I think that's what it's about. A lot of people are not willing to be transparent, and because people aren't willing to be transparent, nobody can learn anything, right? Because everybody spends their entire life with secrets, secrets of all the mistakes that they made. And even though everybody makes mistakes and errors, everybody messes up. That's just life. That's how life is. Everybody messes up. But when you start running around trying to treat life as if you don't make mistakes, and then you sit there and you try to cover all of that up continuously, living that lie, it becomes very difficult. It becomes very difficult to end up having a good life. So I tell people all of the time, man, um, be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself, and and understand that in being yourself, you are going to make mistakes. You are going to embarrass yourself and things like that you do. So I tell people, don't worry about embarrassing yourself, right? You have to truly, truly begin to live your life, okay, and understand that by living your life, each thing that you do, each mistake that you make, Trey, how you doing? Each mistake that you make, right, you are going to have to tell yourself that it is a learning experience. And this is what you want to have to do. You want to go through life doing as much as you can so that you can make mistakes and learn as much as you can. And that's kind of the gist of a lot of things that I'm talking about here today. I'm talking about you guys trying to get the most out of your life. I think that is very, very important to get the most out of your life. So I'm here, I'm live on TikTok as well as uh, YouTube. And so this is one of my little Sunday night things that I like to do and hang out as I try to set up how I got this thing going out here tonight, so I could be giving a little bit of attention to both screens at the same time. I think that that's important. That I give my shout outs to my YouTube crowd, who is 10,000 strong, and my newly developing TikTok crowd. So you guys are only about 1,500 strong. So, but I've been on YouTube for a long time, so that's why I have about 10,000 people on YouTube, and I got them mostly after I wrote my book, Top 25 Mistakes en Route to the Good Life, about 5 years ago now, right? Going on almost six. Right after COVID, I finished. So, if you guys remember COVID. Anyway, so tonight, what we're going to talk about the 7 Secrets of Daily Happiness. We're going to get into it and we're going to start talking about it. And it's a whole lot to cover here. Very small, but it's a lot to cover. So, one of the first most important things that I like to say is, first and foremost, if you guys don't know me already, I am Sal Blue, right? I am a trauma survivor who speaks from his gut, okay? And that is what I do. I survived my career, I survived trauma in my life, okay? Many years of it. And I'm coming out on the other side, and I'm talking about living the best life possible. And I'm teaching people how to regain their life back. Just because you had trauma does not mean that this is the end. It does not mean that this is over just because you had trauma. Okay, believe it or not, you know, um, everybody has had some level of trauma in their life. It's called living, unfortunately, and some of us had worse trauma than others. But when you are not in someone else's shoes, of course you think your trauma is the worst possible trauma that you could possibly have. It's just what we do as human beings. We always think that our trauma is the worst. Okay, and so I'm not here to sit here and try to tell you guys to try to compare traumas. No, that's not what it's about. It's about surviving your trauma, because your trauma and what you feel is the level of pain and heartache that you have gone through during that time that you went through it. And so understand this: if you are anything like me and you survived that trauma, if that same trauma was to occur to you now, 10, 15, 20 years later, you would handle it different. You would understand it better, right? Because you grew from it, because you made it through. And that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about. I'm here to talk you guys through that process and get you guys to be stronger on the other side, so that when similar traumas come up, okay, you handle it. You handle it, okay, and you continue to live your life and continue to be happy. So I came up with this course, Seven Secrets to Daily Happiness, because everybody's always asking me, Sal, why are you so happy all of the time? And I'm happy because I'm a survivor, right? I'm happy because I'm a survivor. I'm happy because I'm learning from what I survived. That is so important, to learn from what you survived, guys, right? Start learning from your experiences. Start learning from things that happen to you in your life, And when you start learning from things that happen to you in your life, what you start to understand is, guess what? You can survive trauma. You can make it. All right, hold on. Let me see what I'm doing with this battery here. Here we go. All right. Had to juice up my battery over here for a minute. My battery was low. I didn't charge my battery today. But we back in business. All right. All right. We're back in business on YouTube. We're back in business over here on TikTok. And so the important thing here is for you to reach the version of your life, okay, your best version. So, and in doing so, I'm gonna move this board over here a little bit so I have a little better access to it. All right, there we go. All right. Okay. So the first thing I want to do, guys, is I want to ask you guys a question. This is very important that I ask you this question. Okay. When was the last time you woke up and actually felt happy? Right? When was the last time you actually woke up, as soon as you opened your eyes and started your day, and you actually felt happy? Right? And I'm not talking about distracted, and I'm not talking about stressed. I'm talking about, and I'm also not talking about faking it until you make it. When it comes to your own personal happiness, that is not something that I want you to fake. I want you to truly feel happy. So when's the last time you felt happy? Right? When's the last time you felt real peace in your life? And as I'm talking to you guys about this, I want you guys to write it down. Write it down and understand how important it is to know when is the last time. right? And write it. What is it? Is it a date? Was it pre-COVID, right? 2019 was the last time you truly felt happy, or was it 6 months ago for your birthday, or was it, last week, or was it this morning when you woke up, right? And and when you answer that question, I also want you to think about something. I want you to think about what circumstances did you need to happen in your life for you to feel that you were happy, because it doesn't matter. I see people all the time trying to tell people why they need to be happy or the things they need to do to be happy, right? That is the whole purpose of my course, right? 7 Secrets of Daily Happiness. Because I'm trying to give you guys my secrets, the things that help me to become as happy as possible. So, in doing so, okay, hopefully you guys can take what I've done, okay, and out of that, learn what it takes to make yourself happy, right? To use these as tools to put in your toolbox and then take out when you need them when situations arise. I think that's very, very important for you guys to learn how to be happy and to learn what tools people are using to become happy. All right, so let's go. Let's go with that. All right. So when I wrote the 7 Secrets of Daily Happiness, the reason why I wrote it was because I got tired of chasing moments that never lasted. Right? You know how it comes to when you're happy, but you're not continually happy. You're happy for a moment. You're happy for a day. You're happy in the morning and you're miserable when you get to work. Or you're happy on the weekend, but you're unhappy Monday through Friday. I was tired of chasing that, guys. I was tired of chasing it. And that's why I began to start to record and write down things that can make me stay happy. Stay happy internally, deep inside. Now, when I talk about this, I want to let you guys know that I was successful in my career, very successful in my career. Okay, but in the inside, I was breaking. I was breaking, and I don't know whether any of you guys have ever felt that in your life. To be successful in everybody else's eyes, but internally, you were just crushed. You were breaking. Things were not happening for you in your life the way you wanted them to happen. You know, people outside of you look at you and they're like, "Oh my God, this guy is living high off the hog. His life is great," and then the inside, you're falling apart. You're breaking. Okay, so I want you guys to think about that because maybe you felt that as well. Okay, now tonight, I'm not just going to talk to you guys about happiness, right? Um, what we're going to be talking about is healing. I think that's very, very important. Not just talking about happiness, but we're going to be talking about healing from the inside out, man. It is so, so important. A lot of people need healing, man. A lot of people uh, need that trauma to be soothed, man. A hug, or whatever you want to call it, man. But I'm talking about healing. I'm talking about reclaiming your power, because that's important. I'm gonna let you guys know where your power lies, okay? And building peace from the inside out. That is what matters, guys. Healing and building peace from the inside out. And if you think that your true happiness is going to come outside of you, I'm here to tell you that is shaky ground. That is shaky ground in order to put um, all your hopes, dreams, and aspirations on external happiness. Just doesn't happen. How you doing, Angie? Angie Fashion, what's going on? Yeah, don't don't put all your eggs in that basket in somebody else's basket for them to carry around and decide when you're going to be happy and when you're not going to be happy. Don't let that happen to you. Okay. So what I'm going to walk you through today is I'm going to walk through 7 powerful habits that changed my life. These habits changed my life, and it changed the lives of so many other people who I talked, um, who I've taught them to. right? So these habits didn't just work for me. They work for people around me. They work for people who are told that I was using these habits, and then they put these habits, they implemented these habits into their lives, and they became happy as well on a consistent basis. Okay. And I think that's important. So as I go through this, guys, grab a pen and paper, your journal, whatever you gonna write on. Okay, just grab that because tonight I'm gonna tell you guys this is where your peace begins. Your peace begins right here tonight. Okay, so I want you guys to understand that sunrise, one reflection, and one choice at a time is what it's going to take to make you happy. It's something you're going to choose each and every day. When you're done with this, when we're done talking about this, this is something you're going to choose to do each and every day. And I'm going to prove to you how important it is. All right. So, when I first started writing the 7 Secrets of Daily Happiness, I thought I was writing a book about how to stay positive. Right? You know how many people talk about staying positive, how to stay positive? I thought I was writing a book about that. And what I truly found out was that it wasn't a book about how to stay positive. What I realized was that happiness isn't about pretending that everything is okay. So many people run around, and that is why things look so crazy, right? Because people run around and they want people to think that they're happy. They want people to think that they're okay. And that is not what I'm here to teach you how to do. I'm not teaching you guys how to put up a front to the world. Okay. I'm talking about you being happy, which is very, very important to me right now. So what I'm talking about, right, is learning how to be okay when things aren't okay. That's it. It's important. Learning how to be okay when things are not okay. When your life is falling apart, right? When your finances aren't right. When your relationships aren't right. When your health isn't right. Can you still be okay? So it's not about being positive, okay? It's about understanding what you have and working from there. Okay, because the only way that you can have more in your life is if you appreciate what you have in your life. And that is where the journey begins. The journey begins and you understanding what your life is made up of, and what you have in your life. Okay, so that is where we begin. All right. So the 7 Secrets of Happiness came from some of my hardest moments, right? And these are days in my life, and I've been to some very hard moments. These are days in my life where I almost gave up on life, on myself, on everything. Okay. And other times where I felt unseen, and the seasons when I had to rebuild it all from the ground up. Everything from the ground up, where I had nothing and I had to start from scratch. This is where 7 Secrets of Daily Happiness came from. Okay, they didn't all come to me miraculously one at a time. No. So as I'm laying these secrets out to you, I'm laying them out to you in a much easier format for you guys to deal with. But for me, I had to learn these secrets one at a time as they worked out in my life. And I'm telling you, just like I talked about in my book in Top 25 Mistakes, it is so much easier, okay, to learn from other people's mistakes and catapult your life ahead 10, 15, 20 years and eliminate some of the heartache that you will definitely eventually come into if you continue to make the same mistakes. So that is why I wrote the Top 25 Mistakes en route to the good life. But as we talk about this, guys, as we get into this, okay, As we go through each secret tonight, I want you guys to think about your own story. Because at the end of the day, it's not about me and my story. Okay? At the end of the day, I want you to think about you and your story. What trauma have you had to deal with? What highs and lows have come to you in your life and made you rethink everything that you were doing? What was that moment that really hit you and made you realize that the life you were living is not the life that you currently wanted to live, that you want to change in your life? Hmm? When was that? When did that moment occur for you? I think that's important. Okay, so I want you to think about your routines. I want you to think about your peace. And I want you to think about where you might have lost a little bit of yourself trying to make everyone else happy, right? And have you done that? Have you spent your life trying to make everybody else happy, trying to make everybody else satisfied? And in turn, you started losing. You started losing more and more of yourself as you gave more and more of yourself. Okay, you didn't set your boundaries. Okay, you didn't learn how to say no. Several things we're going to get into today, and I just think that as we get into it, if you can understand your story and where you came from, then as I'm speaking, you can relate. You can relate it to what is going on in your life. So let's get into it, man. Let's start with the first secret. And it's the one that changed everything for me. This is the one that woke me up in my life. And that secret was protecting my morning, right? Protecting my morning is key. It was a game changer for me when it comes to 7 secrets of daily happiness. And protecting my morning was had a few elements to it. Okay, and one of the first important things that I want to tell you guys is that if you don't take charge of your morning, it is impossible for you to take charge of your day. I've learned many, many, many years ago that one of the most important things about your morning is that if you wake up and you don't know what you're going to do that day, and you don't have a plan of how you're going to spend your day, then you should probably take off that day and plan for tomorrow because you have already lost your day. You want to win the battle of the morning. That's what you want to do. So you want to start your day with a plan. Mine in the book I talk about is your morning routine, right? You need to build an intentional morning routine, one that you have chosen for yourself. See, this is your time. So for me, I've gone through stages where I've had younger children, teenage children, older children. So I've gone through a couple of stages where you felt that what everybody's wants and needs was way more important than yours. Okay. And when I went through those stages, what I soon realized was that you teach people how to take from you. Okay. You teach people how to take from you because if you're always giving, you never set boundaries. And if you never set boundaries and you're always giving, then guess what? You begin to not focus on what's most important, which is the building and the strengthening of yourself, right? And I think that mostly starts with your morning routine. So it doesn't matter whether you're an early riser or a late riser, okay? I'm telling you that you need to have at least 30 minutes to yourself when you rise in the morning. It's important, it's essential. I mean, ideally, an hour, but that's something you can build up to, right? But you need to have a morning routine that helps you to focus on you. Listen, one of the most important things I like to say to you guys is you cannot pour from an empty cup. All right. And if you're constantly giving and you're constantly drained, then eventually, okay, people aren't going to be satisfied with what you're giving them because you will be giving them far less than what you have the potential to give people. So just think about that for a minute, right? If you truly, truly love and care people, then you will work on yourself so you can give the most of yourself. That that's the best way for me to say it. Work on yourself so you can give the most of yourself. All right. And and another important thing when it comes to a morning routine, stop waiting for someone else to come and tell you to get off your ass and get started. Don't do it. Okay. What's going to happen is you're eventually just going to be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed because people get caught up in their own life, man. People get caught up in their own life and things that they have to do and their own thoughts and their own goals and dreams and aspirations and disappointments and ups and downs. So when people go through that stuff, the last thing they try to put on their plate is you. It's just what it is. So build a strong morning routine. Now, I'll talk about my morning routine and I'll tell you why that matters, right? And I wrote this right in my book. Okay. And what I try to explain to people is most people wake up reacting to life. Okay. They hit the snooze button, they scroll on social media, and they start their day um, on autopilot. Uh, but those people, right? And this is what I had to do for myself. Those people who choose how to start their day, okay, they build momentum and confidence and joy that carries them through even the toughest times, right? And this is something that I had to learn in my first 28 years of law enforcement, right? This is something I had to learn. And once I began to learn this, okay, that's when changes began to take place in my life. Um, when I just wake up, stayed up late and woke up and I was rushing out to work and everything, I became really good at reacting, right? And so because became really good at reacting, I was able to camouflage basically all of my flaws in my life, right? That's all I was doing. All I would do was camouflaging my flaws in my life better than a person who had less experience than me. And that is what I learned throughout my career. Is I learned to follow people who knew how to cover their flaws. Okay, but then when I began to mature and grow in my career, what I soon realized was just because everybody doesn't see me breaking down does not mean I'm not breaking down. Just because everybody believes that I'm happy does not mean I'm happy. All right. So I stopped trying to show people, put on a show for people, and I started truly doing for myself and becoming happy. Right? I started becoming happy. And I'm not talking about positive thinking. I'm talking about happy from the inside out. And so for me, that started with a morning routine. Now, I love health and I love fitness. So one of the most important things that I began to do was two things. The first thing I started off doing was I made a statement to myself. I made a statement to myself and I continue to make that statement to myself, repeating it over and over and over again until I believed it. And I know that sounds crazy to you guys, but if you continually tell yourself something, you begin to program your mind to believing that that is the situation. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, how many times have you thought negative things were going to happen in your life, and it eventually happened in your life, right? Or some version of that. It is so easy for us to think negative and so difficult for us to think positive. And so, um, one of the first things that I say to myself as soon as I realize that I am alive another day, as soon as I realize I'm alive another day, the first thing I say to myself is, this is the best day of my life. Right? That's just what I said. This is the best day of my life. Now, in the beginning, guys, you may not believe that. You may not believe that this is the best day of your life. You may not believe it. And so, because you may not believe it, you're going to have to repeat it over and over and over again, okay, until you get it, right? It's just like learning a new language. It's just like learning math. It's just like learning anything in school, right? One thing I know about most people is you guys are really good at memorizing and learning stuff from other people, because the habit you have right now, you learned it from somebody, okay? And I'm trying to teach you guys some good, positive habits that are life changing, okay? So every day, wake up and tell yourself what your day is going to be like. Despite anything that is going on in your life, tell yourself what your day is going to be like. Admit it. This is the best day of my life. This is the best day of my life. Not this is going to be or this should be. Say it with conviction, emotions, and feelings. Okay? And eventually, your mind will catch on, and your mind will create that reality for you. It will turn this day into the best day of your life. And you begin to do that, and you will see the power of suggestion. And so that's the first thing that I do when I open my eyes when I wake up. Okay. That is part of my intentional morning routine program. So after I say that, I have a couple of things that I say to myself, a couple of ritual statements that I say to myself, my goals, my aspirations, my dreams, things that I am becoming. I say that to myself out loud so that I can hear it. And I've said it so many times that I memorize it. So I'm always shooting for growth. So that is my statement for growth. After I tell myself that this is the best day possible, I insert my statement for growth. Okay, and it can be however you want your statement to turn out. It has to be, um, it doesn't even have to be that you believe it. It has to be in a way that you can say it each and every day. And if you have to write it down and read it for a while, then write it down and read it for a while. You'll eventually memorize it when you say it. So tell yourself what type of day it's going to be, and then tell yourself what you're going to do for this day. Now, after you do that, I suggest you move. Okay? And every single morning, without fail, no matter what is going on, no matter how I feel, I roll out of bed and I have my yoga mat right next to the bed on the floor. My yoga mat on the bed next to the floor, and I get down and I do 100 push-ups and some stretches. Okay, some downward dog, some child poses, and I move my body. I get that blood flowing. I get that blood circulating. Okay, and so just think of these two things. I've already said what type of day I'm going to have, right? And I've already said what I have to do that day. Now I put some energy behind it with exercise. That is part of my intentional morning. And after I do those push-ups, there's no laying in bed. I am out of bed. Even if I roll out the bed and fall on the floor, I'm ready to get started. And I think that is extremely, extremely important. So say what type of day you're going to have, say what you're going to do that day, and then put some energy behind it. Okay? And those are the three things that I do to start my intentional morning. Okay? After I'm done with that, maybe I'll even finish. Well, not even maybe. I know that I do some silent time for myself. All right? And I've been doing this forever. and that silent time is journaling. And the reason why I do journaling after I do my push-ups is because sometimes when you get started, you have a little fogginess. And I think that getting the blood pumping and getting the exercise going will stop you from having that fogginess, and it will get you your brain stimulated in the morning so that you can journal and write. And so I spend another 10, 15 minutes journaling, right? So that's usually for me 30 to 45 minutes in the morning. That's my morning routine. And that gets my day started. After that, I shower up and I'm on my way to my 9 to 5 or whatever I have to do, whatever I have planned for that day. But that is my time for me. Okay. And you have to make sure that you have your time for you locked in place no matter what. No matter what, that is your time. And that's my first secret. And that's probably the most powerful secret I've ever had that began to turn my life around. All right? Having an intentional morning, taking charge. Protect your morning at all costs. Secret number one, guys. All right. Secret number two, choose peace. Choose peace over proving. All right. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, what does that mean? Choose peace over proving. Well, what choosing peace over proving means is that a lot of us live our lives based on regret, resentment, and comparison. All right. So regret, resentment, and comparison, they all fall along the same lines of us assuming and thinking that our chapter 1 should be in the exact place that somebody's chapter 20 is. And that happens a lot of times when we're scrolling, we're checking out social media, and we're checking out people's stories and looking at people's lives from the outside in. And we have a tendency to think that everybody is living such a better life than we are. Okay. And I'm here to tell you that most people aren't living a better life than you. Most people's lives, okay, are what they are. And you just happen to look in on them at a chapter, or maybe not even a chapter, on a page or two, that things happen to be going great for them. Okay. And it does not mean that you should sit there and try to match up to everybody's journey. Where you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. Your growth is your growth. That's what it is. That's why it is your life, right? So you're going to grow how you're going to grow, and your pace is your pace. You can't run somebody else's race, is the main point that I'm trying to make to you guys. And when you start trying to prove to people how happy you are, when you start trying to show people how well you're doing at work, when you try to prove to people that you have a great relationship, that a great marriage, that you have all of these things, that you try to prove it to people outside of yourself, okay, that is usually when the wheels start to fall off. I've known so many people who spend their entire life, okay, trying to show everybody on social media how great their life is, right? And if your life is great and you want to display it all day on social media, that's awesome. That is awesome. It may be inspiring, it may make people feel good, but the point is, when you're lying to yourself, okay, it hurts you more than it hurts other people, right? Because of course people are going to see you and they're going to resent you, right? because people love comparing their life to your life. Number one, okay, so they're gonna resent you, okay, and then in turn, people who aren't gonna resent you and they see you, they won't even reach out to try to figure out whether you're having a bad day or anything because you're always acting like, okay, your life is phenomenal, your life is awesome. And so the only person that will truly know is you because you'll be trapped in a world of lies, man. And I don't want you guys to get trapped in the world of lies. I also don't want you to go out there and tell everybody all your problems either, right? Because as I told you before, most people don't care about your problems. Most people care about themselves and the life that they're living, okay, and their own problems. So everybody has their own bag of shit, period. Okay, that they need to deal with and smell and clean up each and every day. And so they're not going to help you carry yours. They're not going to help you carry yours. But at the same time, guys, what I'm trying to tell you is that when you sit there and you try to prove to everybody how great a life you're having without working on making your life great, you lose your peace. Okay? And I don't want you guys to lose your peace trying to prove to somebody how good your life is. I want you guys to have that peace, have a good life. And having a good life is not going to be a one fix helps everybody. No, one shot fixes all. However you say the same. Um, it's not going to be like that, right? You are going to have to work on your life every day, right? You're going to have to work on your relationships every day. You're going to have to work on your career, your job every day. Okay, you're going to have to work on your health every day. Okay, and these are just some realizations that most people probably won't tell you because they sugarcoat things, right? And when people begin to sugarcoat solutions to your problems, my problems, everybody's problems, when people start sugarcoating solutions to these problems, what usually happens is that you have a false sense of when your problem should be solved, when your problem should be over, when is the point of when you stop having to work on your health? When is the point of when you stop having to work on your marriage? When is the point of when you stop having to work on your finances, on your job, on your friendships? When is the point you have to stop working on that? And the point is never, right? And so if you guys can get comfortable with the uncomfortability of the fact that your work never ends, then that is where the peace comes from, right? Because what the peace comes from is you being grateful for what you have. Because I promise you guys, I promise you, whatever you have, there's someone out there that wish they can walk in your shoes. All right. You know, um, you have a house and you paying a mortgage that's draining your pockets. There's somebody out there living in an apartment that wish they had a house. Okay, and if you have an apartment and you're wishing you had a house, there's somebody out there living with their parents that wish they can afford an apartment. You know, and the beat goes on. There's someone out there that wish they was in your situation as well, living with their parents, so they wish their parents was alive so they could live with their parents. You know, and so then there's someone out there who is homeless, living on the street. You know, so start thinking about that, guys. Celine, how you doing, sweetheart? What's going on? Um, so start thinking about that, man, because what happens is we begin to start comparing ourselves to everybody else, and by comparing ourselves to everybody else, you stop considering all the things that you do have. And so one of the things that I always try to do, guys, is I try to be grateful. I try to have gratitude. You know, gratitude is important, man. Gratitude keeps me going. Gratitude keeps me moving. Gratitude keeps me excited when it comes to having the best life possible. Okay, because I understand all the things that I want, and all those things are out there. But today, what I have today, I'm grateful for. So that is that is one of my powerful secrets. So that's secret number two. Choose peace over proving. Secret number three. Okay. And these are actually all bonus secrets because I have additional secrets in my book, guys. Hey! So let's start, Celine. So I have additional secrets in my book that I have for you guys. If you guys happen to grab my book, My Seven Secrets to Daily Habit. Yeah. But learn the power of no, right? Learn the power of no. A lot of us say yes way too much, man. Way too much we say yes. Cuevas in the house with Celine. What's going on, guys? A lot of people say yes way too much, man. Way too much. People say yes. And what happens is eventually you have no time to do nothing for yourself. And I know a lot of us are parents, right? You know, and that's where it all begins. It begins when you're a parent. And you may say no to your kids for certain things, but I'm sure most of us out there, we say yes far too often. Okay, far too often to to our kids. And the truth is, we just want to have a better life than what we had, right? And so, because we want our kids to have a better life than what we have, we kind of say yes all the time. I know I say yes far too much to my kids, and I pretty much to the point of where I used to put myself in a bind. When it came to time, when it came to money, when it came to promises, I would push, 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 and then I would run out of time for myself, man. I would run out of time for myself. I would run out of time for my health. I'd run out of time to buy things for myself, which is still very important. Okay. Um, Between me and my wife, we both said yes so much. We started running out of time for each other. Where we would go on vacation, and basically our whole vacation was running around behind our kids, and we didn't enjoy it. We get back and we're exhausted and we're wore out, and they're like, "Oh, this is the best vacation ever," and a week later they forgot. They forgot all the things they did for you, and they're back to asking. And so I think that we program people to be used to us. Yeah, we program people to be used to us always saying yes. We program our children to being used to us always saying yes. And so a lot of times when we say no, boy, do they have an attitude with us. And then we feel bad that they have an attitude with us. So we try not to say no as much. But got to say no way more often, because guess what? The world doesn't work that way. They're not going to always get yes everywhere they go. So I guess we got to teach them a little bit of no's at home. I think that's very, very important. So learning the power of no. Oh, Cuevas, especially with my girls, man. It's so, I'm a sucker. How you say it? Um, they used to say I'm a sucker for love. That's just funny. It's one time I'm calling myself disciplining my daughters, and I'm telling them that I'm gonna put the switch to them, you know. And my daughter goes blah, and listen, and I'm talking about they're like 6 and 7 when they did this. My daughter's like blah 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 blah. They said, All you do is talk about it. You don't beat nobody, Daddy. and and so see, if it was mommy, they know mommy would beat them, but all Daddy do is talk about it. So they used to run right through me. I was a sucker. But now, hey, I just try to teach him lessons by writing books. Nobody's a prophet in their own home. The hardest thing to do after years of programming is to get your kids to actually believe what you say. Oh, man. So the power of no. A lot of us won't do that. Learn the power of no, that's for sure. So, secret number 4, guys. Secret number 4 is learn to be still. Right? Learn to be still. I call it practice stillness. That's what I call it. And so I'll break it down to you like this. Practicing stillness is some of us are way too busy. Way too busy. And a lot of times when you're way too busy, you have no focus. Right? You're doing everything. And I'm not saying, when I say practice stillness, I'm not saying slow down on your hustle. Right? I'm telling you that your focus is the most important thing. One thing at a time you can do. Put full focus and full energy on one thing at a time instead of trying to juggle all of these things at once. It's going to stop you from being the best version of yourself. Period. So slow down. Practice being still. And when you practice being still, what you do is you begin to start to listen to yourself, which is so important for you to do. Because when you're not still, what happens is you hear so many voices everywhere, because everybody is pulling you in different directions. I have four daughters, right? Set of twins, 4 girls. And so sometimes I'm sitting around and I'm listening to them, and their conversations are everywhere, and then all of them are always fighting for attention, for this one to listen to that one, so on and so forth. And that is the same way it is in the world. Everybody is pulling for your attention. Everybody's trying to get you to do what they want you to do, and everybody's trying to get you to make money doing this, or to make money on TikTok, or make money on Facebook or YouTube, or buy Bitcoin. And so when you're hearing all of these things go on, it's very difficult for you to find your voice. And the only way that you can find your voice is through stillness. Stop moving and listen to yourself. Right? Find the time each and every day. I find the time each and every day to just stop for 15 minutes. And I got a little room that I sit in. And if I'm listening to something, it don't have no words to it, no lyrics that I could get all caught up in, or I just sit in silence. And my spot used to be in the bathroom. My legs would go to sleep sitting on the toilet, just to find some silence. But but one of the most important things that I would do is I would find my space. So like now my space is down here in my little man cave, where I just hang out and I chill out, and I just ask myself questions about myself. One of the most important things that we can do is learn who we are. Because if you don't learn who you are, how are you going to present yourself to the world as the best version of yourself if you don't even know yourself? And so Um, I try to make it a point each and every day to take 15 minutes to ask myself some questions about myself, and this is simple questions, right? Like in life, like, why did I react this way to this person? What triggered me to act that way? Was it some type of childhood trauma? Why did I get mad from the guy that cut me off? Right? What did I expect from them? Because a lot of times we have high expectations of people, whether it's in relationships, whether it's our children, whether it's people we work around. We have high expectations because we expect people to do the same thing we're going to do. And most of the time we're wrong, right? Most of the time we expect people to do what we're going to do, but they haven't seen life the way we've seen it, so they do it a little different. And so we usually get disappointed. So I'm telling you to practice stillness so that you can know yourself. And once you know yourself, then you know that you can separate who you are, okay, from who people try to portray you to be, right? Because everybody's always going to try to put you in a box. Everybody's always going to try to put you in, this is who you are, Cuevas is this way, and Celine is this way, and Sal is this way, and everybody always tries to put you in a box to tell you exactly who you are and how you're going to be. And if you don't know yourself, a lot of times you take the lazy route and you just go, yeah, I'm Cuevas, I'm the hard worker, or I'm Celine, I'm mom, and this is who I am, and you're more than just mom. So um, people got to understand that, and the only way they're going to understand that is to know themselves. So take some time every single day, 15 minutes. That's it. Because it's not about volume; it's about consistency, right? And if you do it every day, and you answer some questions about yourself every day, in a year's time, boy, you will truly, truly know yourself, and nobody can steer you in a direction that you don't want to get steered in. Okay, you won't be manipulated. You won't be uh, pushed, tugged, or pulled in any direction that you don't want to be put in. Okay, or manipulated, as I like to say. So practice stillness, and through stillness, you'll get to know yourself. Um, Secret number five. Number five. Feed your mind. Feed your mind what you want to feel. On your commute to work. So you trying to tell me on your commute to work you don't listen to music? Because I used to listen to music all the time on my commute to work, and then somebody told me that you could turn your car into a library, and so that kind of woke me up a little bit. I was like, damn. I said I can turn my car into a library, and I started listening to things that enriched me in my car, and then other times I just turn off the radio. I don't listen to nothing. It's quiet. So yeah. So I got about a 40-minute commute to work in the morning, and that works for me. Oh, okay. Yeah, me too. I don't listen to them any other time. It's just my commute to work. I listen to audiobooks. Yeah, definitely. I've definitely been doing a lot of praying, going to work, going to work for my children, for my family. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me grounded. So that's important. So mistake number five is feed your mind what you wanted to feel. Now, in the beginning, what I began talking to you guys about was the fact that I tell myself what type of day I'm going to have, and I don't allow outside circumstances to tell me what type of day I'm going to have. It doesn't matter what's going on. I feed my mind, okay, the fact that I am going to have a good day. and I consistently feed my mind. I tell my mind I'm focused, I'm building wealth, okay, I'm happy. Um, uh, Tons of things that I'm always telling myself, but I'm always feeding my mind how I want to feel. Because if you don't feed your mind what you want to feel, the world will, and I promise you, the world feeds you nothing but negativity. Turn on the news. Turn on the news. I can't get through 2, 3 feeds on social media without them talking about a bunch of negative shit that's going on. Constantly. All they do is talk about negative stuff, right? And especially the news. The news is ridiculous. The news is 90% negativity and 1% optimism. Okay? If you listen to the news, we are all doomed. We are all doomed. Don't make no plans to do nothing. No holiday plans, no nothing. Okay, if you listen to the news, we are doomed, man. And so you have to feed your mind what you want to feel. And me, I choose to feed my mind, okay, things that enrich me and strengthen me and make me more powerful. So um, that's important. Feed your mind what you want to feel. That's number 5, guys. Number 5. Number 6. Number 6. You got one more after this. This was the hardest one for me. Number 6 was the hardest one for me. All right. Number 6 is forgive. Forgive so that you can be free. Forgive so that you can be free, guys. How about that, right? Forgive. You don't have to forget. You don't have to forget. But if you forgive people, transgressions and things that have gone bad in your life, and people that have done you wrong, and people who have stabbed you in the back, and all of these things that have happened in your life, right? If you forgive all of that stuff, you let it go. You don't carry it with you. Okay. The first thing it does is it takes all of the power out of all of those things that have happened to you, right? That person, as long as you hold on to that anger, to that resentment, to constantly thinking about what has happened to you and what has been done in your life. If you continually think about that, the only thing that happens is that yes, yes, exact. Oh my God, Joe, you nailed it. You nailed that one. That's for sure. That's for sure. Forgiveness isn't for them, it is for you. I could not have said it better. I have not said it better. You can't grow and hold on to resentment. Okay? You can't grow and at the same time harbor in your heart all of this anger and all of these emotions and everything that you're mad about somebody who did you wrong. Nope. I'm telling you, you have to learn how to forgive and let go. You have to learn how to forgive and let go. Move on. And I'm not telling you to forget and put yourself in that situation over and over and over again. No, I'm not telling you how to do that, right? I'm telling you the power in forgiving is you say somebody did you wrong, you say, listen, I forgive you. I'm not angry about what you did. Okay, I forgive you. And you did it based on whatever knowledge you thought that you had about me or however you felt. And now you do your thing and I'll do my thing. You leave and go and I leave and go. If it's a friendship or relationship or something like that, if it's a job or whatever, you forgive and you just, okay, I forgive you. Um, what happened hurt me, and I keep moving. And I'm not telling you guys not to not to feel pain and hurt. I'm telling you that don't continually carry it over and over and over again. Listen, I know people, I know people who have carried the pain of a divorce, the pain of a relationship, the pain of somebody cheating on them or doing wrong, and they have carried that thing for 5, 10, 15 years. Then divorced and carried it for another 5 and 10 years. Okay, are you serious right now? You are giving that person control over your life. So one thing that I tell all my kids all the time, consistently, and I have to continue to tell them, obviously, is stop giving people a pass to live up here rent free. That's what you're doing. You handing out rent free tickets for somebody to control your entire life because you let them live up in here in your head. Don't let people live up in your brain. You stop letting people live up in your brain, then you can get out there and you can have a good life because you're forgiving them and you're moving on. Okay? Because all of us, all of us are tied to our emotions. It's what we are. It's how we live. We're emotional creatures. So if we are constantly worried about people who have done us wrong, then that person, even when they're not even thinking about us, has control over our lives. Just think about that. This person, they done their dirt. They're not even thinking twice about you. But every single day you give them energy and power by letting them know that they still have control over your life. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Don't allow people to have control of your life. Learn the power of forgiveness. And through the power of forgiveness, okay, you can move on with your life, okay, and retake your power, retake your joy, retake your happiness. That is how it goes, man. That is one of my second most powerful secret that I learned, okay? After taking charge of my morning, forgiving people. Forgiving people and moving on, right? And moving on quickly, too, right? No need to let it linger because I got shit to do, okay? The last secret that I have for you guys today is being intentional about joy, right? And that's what this is all about anyway, right? My 7 secrets to daily happiness, and I call them secrets because even though they're secrets, there's something that all of you know. It's something that all of you know. So it's not like you guys don't know these things, right? It's so funny. It's not like we don't know that if we eat a bunch of cake and sweets and drink soda and don't exercise, we're going to have poor health, right? But how many people do it, regardless of what they know? So it's one thing that I learned a very long time ago is knowledge is useless if it's not applied knowledge. All right. So knowledge without action means absolutely nothing. It is you having, I'd rather have somebody with a GED who is always about that action, who is always getting done, than have somebody with a PhD with all of that knowledge and still continually want to go back to school more and never get shit done. Okay? What is more important? Right? More important is applied knowledge. You have to apply that knowledge. And so if you want to be happy, you have to be intentional about being happy. You have to be intentional. You have to take happiness in your own hands. You know the saying, guys, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. And not only is not nobody coming to save you, nobody's coming to help you to be happy. Nobody's coming to be happy. Listen, somebody told me a very, very long time ago. They said, "You want to have a happy marriage?" I said, "Yes, I want to have a happy marriage. What do I do? I'm at bated breath. What do I do?" And they said, "Find a happy woman. Period. That's it. That's it. Okay? In order to be happy in a relationship, you have to take charge of your own happiness. And in order for that other person to be happy on the other side of that relationship, they have to take charge of their own happiness. Okay? And then if both of you guys are responsible, taking charge of each other's, your own happiness, you can then bring that together and make something right, make something good, right? But if you have one person happy and the other person miserable, they're not going to do nothing but try to bring you down. They're not going to do nothing but have resentment because you're happy and they're not, or they're not going. They're going to just sit around and think that you're happy in spite of them being miserable, and then they'll hold out against you as well. So, in order to be happy, be around happy people. So, intentional and powerful, guys. Intentional and powerful. In order to be happy, be around happy people. Plain and simple, man. That is secret number 7, and that is my secret sauce when it comes to my 7 secrets of daily happiness. Right? In order to be happy, you have to be around happy people. Right? Because you pick up the habits of good people. Trust me. The same way you pick up habits of miserable people. You hang around miserable people all the time, you start to be a little cynical, you start to be very sarcastic, you start to believe that the glass is half full or half empty, right? And when you're around positive people, you're on the other end of the spectrum. You always think things are going to work out. You always believe things are going to be okay. And I'm telling you that when you start to believe that things are going to work out on your behalf, that things are going to work out good, that things are going to be all right, that is you being intentional about your joy, about your happiness. And 9 times out of 10, things are going to work out. See, we waste a lot of time worrying about things that never happen. It's just what we do. We spend a lot of time worrying about things that never happen. Okay, and I'm trying to tell you guys to start thinking in the opposite. Start believing that things are going to work out okay. And if you start believing things that are going to work out okay, I guarantee you are going to switch that in your subconscious mind and start believing that things are going to be okay in life. So start thinking that, start believing that, man, and take charge. Be intentional about your joy. Be intentional about your happiness. Okay? So we've been on here for a while today, and we are going to wrap it up for today. But I want to thank you guys for coming out and contributing and chatting with me and talking. And I want you guys to know I'll be out here again next week talking about my 7 secrets of daily happiness. I just launched my my 3rd book, The Reluctant Witness. Okay, it is on Amazon, it's on Audible, it's on Spotify, and it is on Blue Publishing as well. Okay, so we got it everywhere, man, where paperbacks and audio books and ebooks are sold. Get out there, grab your copy of The Reluctant Witness, and continue the journey with Detective Darius Blue. All right. You guys have a great night. This is Sal Blue. I'm signing off, man. I'm signing off from YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all you guys. You guys have a great night. All right. I'll talk to you later.